Good afternoon. Welcome to the Inspiring Inking YouTube channel and the Inspiring Inking Facebook page. I'm Amanda Fowler. It's Tuesday at 2 o'clock, which means it's time for Craft and Chat. Thank you so much if you are joining me live. Let me know that you're here and whether or not you can see and hear me clearly. That would be great. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you've never dropped by my channel before, you'll see there'll be 20 minutes or so of chatting, and then there'll be some crafting. So if you are watching the replay, you can fast forward the chat, but why not grab yourself a cuppa and just come and hang out and chat with us as well. So good afternoon, Jackie and Jen. Thank you so much. And Michelle, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. So let's see. Looks like we're all good. Sue's saying it's all loud and clear. Good afternoon, Sue and Margaret. Cloudy in Oxfordshire. Scylla's saying hello to the crafters and card makers. Good afternoon, Scylla, and Judith as well. Good afternoon, good afternoon. I hope you are all well. I certainly am. I'm actually, I am feeling an awful lot better. And I think I'm getting some of my sassy back. So it's always a bit dangerous. But yeah, I am much improved and feeling a lot brighter and a bit more bouncy and a bit more like myself. So that is good. That is very good. So I've got all sorts of things to chat to you about today, but why don't you put in the chat what you've been up to? What did you do at the weekend? And let me know, whatever it was. Whether it was the household jobs of cleaning and washing the windows, or whether it was, you know, exciting dinners out or whatever. Let me know what you've been up to. I had a, is it here? Oh, yes. I had a Stamping Up event on Saturday morning. It was a 3-hour event for the launch. This is the new catalogue. Look at that. It's very exciting. For the launch of the new catalogue. So we got to see lots of new products and some training and things. So obviously that took up all of Saturday morning. And then we got quite a few jobs done. Well, we went to B&Q. That's very interesting. We bought a new letterbox. That's just a bizarre thing to buy, isn't it? Who buys a new letterbox? So we had a broken letterbox. We bought a letterbox, and now every time the postman puts stuff through the letterbox, he breaks the letterbox. And it's not the postman's fault. It's the fact that the letterbox was rubbish. So we bought another one. And this one's really nice. And the postman managed not to break it. So that was really cool. We got some gardening done. Brian got some scraping done. So our ongoing shower room, we've got to take all the paint off the walls so that the tiles will stick. So Brian's been doing that. It's been a bit of a labour of love, but it's pretty much finished now. So we'll get on to the exciting stuff hopefully soon. But we needed to get a few more bits for that. If you read my blog, I mentioned that I was going to have a go on the Australian mud cake. Now I know we've probably got some Aussies watching right now. Mud cake is not a thing in the UK. We have like a fudge cake, chocolate fudge cake and that kind of thing. But I'd been watching the Australian Bake Off, and for their final sort of showstopper, they all made mud cake. And basically what they were saying was it's quite a dense, firm cake that slices well. You know, and I love to bake, so I thought I would give it a go. I found a recipe online. I'll put a link to it on my blog, actually, when this video goes live. So you can check it out. Super easy recipe. You melt the butter and the chocolate and the milk and the cocoa powder, and you mix it with the flour and the sugar and the sour cream. Yeah. So it's a whole ½ pound of butter, a tub of sour cream. This is not a cake if you are concerned about calories in any way, shape or form. And it's gorgeous. It's really, really, really delicious. And it, as it said, it cuts really well. So long as you've got a sharp knife, it slices. So if you've got like an event where you're cutting pieces of cake, quite often the cake crumbles, doesn't it? But this is really good. It was a 9-inch. I cooked it in a 9-inch deep tin, 23 centimetre tin, for those of you working in centimetres. And it's a good chunk of a cake. So you could split it into 2 tins and layer it. But basically, Brian and I are eating it by the slice with either creme fraiche or sour cream, because there was a little bit left. And now I've opened the thick double cream. So the calorie counting is not going well currently, but the cake is good. Now, obviously, a 9-inch cake for 2 of us. I mean, you know, you only have like a sliver, that kind of size, because it's really rich. So I've put half of it in the freezer. So we'll see. I will let you know whether it's actually any good when it's been frozen and not. So we did that. And then, so the last thing I want to tell you, because then I'm going to come back and read all the comments, because there's all sorts of different comments going on. So we now, I need you all to let me know how you count with your fingers. So if you're saying to somebody, you know, you need 2 of something, and you kind of, you know, you put 2 fingers up like that, 2. Okay. So Brian was howling with laughter because I was saying I wanted 3 of something, and I'm going to show you how I count with my fingers when I'm showing it to somebody, and he thinks I'm weird. And I believed that my kids would agree with me, and they all agree with Brian. So potentially I am just weird, but you know, it's one of those things that you don't think about something that you do until somebody says, is that really the right way to do that? So this is how I count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Brian says that bit is weird. So you all now need to do this with your fingers and count and tell me, Amanda's way or Brian's way? Let me know. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he does the thumb last. And I go 1, 2, 3 with my thumb, 4, 5. So weird. Okay. So I told you I had weird things to talk to you about today. So let's see. Let's see where everybody is here. Oh, let me scroll down. Good afternoon, Claire and Jen and Jan and Maureen. Thank you, Margaret. Glad I'm feeling better. Chris and Angela are here. Overcast in Newbury. and they're watching me on the TV. Oh, that's a bit scary, Chris. I'll have to put my best BBC news presenter voice on now then, if you're watching me on the telly. That's weird. But it's really cool, isn't it? It does help. Says that they're not squinting now. Good afternoon, Deborah and Karen. Good afternoon, Donna. She's here from Oz. Anne's here. Elizabeth's here. Donna's saying mud cake is very sweet, but it is delicious. Yeah, it is. So with most recipes, I tend to drop the amount of sugar a little bit. Well, that's not true. What I do is I cook a new recipe the way it's designed, and then I tend to drop the sugar a little bit. But it's kind of one of those cakes that there's so many calories in it anyway that you may as well just leave it. Good afternoon, Stella. Texas is in the house. Zaina's here. Hello. Oh, yes, Anna. I hadn't thought about that. Chocolatey and ideal for Easter. Yeah. So it has a tablespoon of espresso powder or instant coffee, which was what I had. And it's very chocolatey without being sickly chocolatey. Now it's designed to have chocolate ganache on the top. We didn't do that. So it was like a step too far, because that was another 200 grams of chocolate and a pot of double cream to make the ganache. But because we eat it with cream or creme fraiche, then, you know, I didn't really think it needed it. I think it'd be really awesome with berries, you know, so some lovely raspberries or that kind of stuff. Yeah, that would be really, really nice. I've just thought of something. Now, you all know that when I'm paper crafting, I'm an inches girl. I can work in centimeters. I do work in centimeters, and I now translate everything I do from inches to centimeters for you and my lovely crafters. But when I bake in grams. So apart from when I'm thinking about butter, it's half a pound of butter. It's 250 grams. But in my head, it's half a pound of butter. So there you go. Right. Judith is saying, oh, Judith, well done. She tidied her craft cupboard and worktop on Sunday. It had been annoying her because it got very muddled, and now it looks great. It made me very happy. Share a picture in the Inspiring Inking Crafting Corner group, Judith. We love seeing people's crafting spaces. Jan says she thinks she might like to try that recipe because it sounds yummy. Janet's thinking that sounds incredible too. Yes, yummy, yummy. Good afternoon, Lorraine. Zaina loves cake. Oh, Donna, okay. Caramel mud cake is also delicious, as well as even vanilla. Okay, so Donna, if you have links to those recipes, can you email them to me? Let me put my email address up. Pretty please. Yeah, because I could only find a chocolate one. That would be amazing. Zaina saying either way. Lorraine saying thumb last. Leslie, Brian's way. Judith saying thumb is number one. You see, that's a third way of doing it. So Donna's saying that she'd go 1, 2, 3. Chris wouldn't use her thumb till last. Jack is saying thumb first. Elizabeth's saying she starts with her thumb. That's mean, Karen. Karen's saying I'm weird, that Brian's right. I think she's probably right. I am weird. Margaret agrees with Brian. Anne saying no, you've got to have 3 fingers. 5 is the thumb. Hi, Laura. Right, so Janet does this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Little finger last. Hi, Jenny. Sue's trying to work it out, but she thinks she does it Brian's way. Brian's way, Brian's way. Anne says she'd love to have the ganache on the top, but can understand why I didn't put it on. Well, you know, it's not like I don't love chocolate, because seriously, I do. And actually, and now you've said about the ganache and Easter, I wonder whether or not putting little mini eggs on it might be the way to go. Yum, yum, yum. Zaina's an inch girl as well, but she also does grams. Jenny converts the weights of newborn babies from kilos to pounds. Yeah, you see, because I that wouldn't make any sense to me either. A 3 kilo baby doesn't sound right, does it? No. Oh, Laura's saying she starts there. Little finger first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay. Donna says she'll check out. Oh no, Donna, don't. It's okay. I can Google it, but she usually buys hers from Mr. Coles or Mr. Woolworths, but she'll pass on any recipes she finds. So we don't have Woolworths here in the UK anymore, Donna. And when we did, they never sold cake. So you must have special Woolworths in Oz then. Oh, Lorraine's planning on making a carrot cake for Easter. Delicious. That's probably, well, I'm going to say that's Brian's favourite cake. It's kind of a toss-up. No. Carrot. See, I'm going to... carrot cake. Yeah, carrot cake, salted caramel cake, chocolate cake. Apparently, my sweet tooth is infectious. That's good, Judith. I don't know. For me, baking makes me happy. So, you know, I love to make things for other people, but I love to bake cake for other people. And you know, I also get to eat it, so that is really good too. But yeah, I do cooking and baking is one of my happy places. And it does depend on what kind of a mood I'm in. So when the kids were teenagers, and they would come home from school, or you know, after school clubs or whatever, and they kind of stick their head in the kitchen and say, what's for dinner? If I said risotto, they would all run away. Because I only made risotto when I was really stressed. So for those of you who've never made risotto, you have to stand at the stove with your boiling pan of stock and your risotto rice, and you stand and you stir and you stir and you stir and you stir. And if I was, you know, stressed about something or cross about something, I would make risotto, because it would make me stand there and stir, which meant I could deal with whatever it was that was giving me trouble. So yeah, so the kids knew to avoid the kitchen if I was making risotto. Bless them. Okay, let's have a look. Jenny likes carrot cake. Zaina cooks in grams, but babies are pounds and ounces. Spuds are pounds. Oh, stop. I want cake, she says. Yeah, we see a couple of weeks ago, everybody to go and buy chocolate Easter eggs. Jackie's hoping to make an apple, walnut, and sultana cake. Oh, they're delicious too. I love apple cake. With custard, particularly. Right, okay, so Donna's explained that Woolworths is a grocery shop in Oz. And Aldi and IGA. I've not heard of IGA, but Aldi, yes. Oh. Incoming suggestion of a recipe. Laura is saying her son made a shortbread base with mini eggs in the shortbread, topped with a layer of caramel and a chocolate topping, and mini eggs buried in the layers. So that's a millionaire shortbread with mini eggs. Oh. Genius. Your son is a genius, Laura. She said it was lovely, but a bit hard on the teeth when you first took it out of the fridge. So you have to let it warm up a little bit. Margaret's a cake baker. She likes doing that too. Elizabeth loves to bake cakes, but only usually eat one slice. Only one slice? Yeah. One slice a day, but not just one slice. Chocolate is for life, though. Okay, that's good. So Laura's saying, if she's cooking liver, her son comes in and says, "What have I done wrong?" Because he sees liver as a punishment. Yeah. Oh, that's it. Jackie, you've done it now. Zaina desperately wants cake. Oh, okay. Right. So have we had enough discussion about calories today? But do let me know your favorite cake recipes. You can all email them to me. I'll have some more to play with. Okay, so I've got my tea. Brian has gone into the office, and 2 years of him being at home, and he's now going into the office 1 or 2 days a week, which is so strange because I'm, completely in the house on my own, which is very odd. But I am listening for the UPS man. So he's bringing one parcel of 7 that are supposed to be here today. The rest of them are stuck on a plane somewhere. So who knows? But hopefully he won't come whilst I'm live, but just so you know, so all the doors are open, and hopefully I'll hear him knocking or ringing the bell. We'll see. Ringing the doorbell. Okay. Leslie, I like your thinking. She says, if you don't cut the cake, surely that means it's just then one slice. I like your thinking. I do. You see, so Laura's saying she made a lemon drizzle cake one morning, and by the time her hubby Alan got in from work, she'd eaten it all. Oh, that's awesome. But you could have hidden all the evidence. You didn't have to tell him because, you could have just washed everything up and hidden all the evidence. I have to say lemon cake is probably my favourite cake. So if ever we go out for dinner, the dessert that I would normally pick is lemon anything. Closely followed by lime anything. And then probably chocolate. But yeah, lemon is kind of my favorite. So yeah, I don't make lemon drizzle cake very often for exactly that reason. Because I will eat it all. Judith noticed that my mug matches the papers. It does. Yeah, I've got a couple of these ones. They're little cactuses. That's not a proper word, is it? It's cacti. Multiples of cactus are cacti, aren't they? Anne's waiting for a Stampin' Up parcel as well, but she thinks it's delayed. Donna's emailed me 2 links, one for caramel mud cake and one for vanilla. Ooh, with white chocolate. You see, I do eat white chocolate, but only when there isn't any other chocolate to eat. It's too sweet. That's what the issue is. You would think with my sweet tooth that nothing can be too sweet, but yeah, it actually is. Oh, Anne. Well, hello, Anne. Thank you for joining us. She says she loves lemon cake. Will be eating it in memory of her mother-in-law from now on. Finally, something fun on her mind for the first time this week. Well, I am pleased that we've brought some joy into your life. We're here every Tuesday at 2:00, so come and hang out with us. And you can watch lots of the replays as well and see the randomness that we talk about. Margaret says her husband loves lemon drizzle cake, so that's her excuse. Yeah, you see, just love lemon. Okay, so I do actually have some crafting today, and this is a technique that I showed at a class last week, and I think it's been around for forever, but it's not actually one that I've shown either here on my channel or even in any of my technique classes, I don't think. So I'm hoping that you will like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap the cameras around and switch on some more light so that you can see a bit better. Okay, so can you let me know if you can still hear me and see me. I'm sorry for your loss, Anne. She lost her mother-in-law a few days ago. Let me get everything out. All the things. Look, I'm working with bright, vibrant colors. Can't even speak now. And no blue, not a single piece of blue in sight. Okay. Let me move all of this stuff away. Good, you can see and hear me clearly. Okay. So this is a technique called reverse watercoloring. So I have a paintbrush. I have a paintbrush and some water. You can use an aqua painter if you want to. So a brush with water in the body of it. I've been finding actually that an actual paintbrush seems to work a little bit better because you can control the amount of water a little bit better. But have a play and see what you think. I'm using shimmery white cardstock, which I hope you can see. This is my cardstock of choice whenever I'm using water. So I'm not really a fan of watercolor paper because it's just too bumpy. And I know that you can get from art shops a smooth watercolor paper. Excuse me. But we don't sell it. And as you know, I use all Stampin' Up products. So if I'm going to put water on something, I will use shimmery white cardstock. I have the colours I've got here are pumpkin pie. Oh, daffodil. I should have crushed curry actually. We'll see how that looks. I might have to go and get another sheet. And this is melon mambo. I've got some blending brushes, and two of them have got their little sticky punch out bits on them. One of them's fallen off. But I find that it's a great way of sort of showing what colour I've had on the blending brushes. So I don't wash them. I will wash them eventually, but I don't wash them kind of in between uses. But I use this for all the yellows and the oranges and the pinks, and then I've got one for greens and one for blues. And then I'm just going to use this sentiment here from Artistically Inked, or when we get to that point. But I need to cut my cardstock. So let's just have a couple of pieces. Okay. So this butterfly stamp is called Butterfly Brilliance. Yeah, this one here. Butterfly Brilliance. Now, it's a background stamp, and you need an F block for it, which is this one. And it is enormous. And I've got little hands. And it's one of the things in my life. But look, I can only just get my fingers around this stamp. And it means I don't have a very good grip on it. So I don't tend to use this block if I'm going to be stamping down. You can, if you've got a stamp on there, ink it up and then put your cardstock on and press it over. That works. Like I said, I really struggle to grip that kind of stamp. So the big background stamps, I tend to use my Stamparatus. And if you haven't got a Stamparatus yet, or why have you not got a Stamparatus yet? Everybody needs one. They are awesome if you're doing multiples of things, but they're awesome if your hands shake a little bit, or like me, you can't grip something, or you want to layer things up in a line. They're just awesome. I've got lots and lots and lots of videos using the Stamparatus on my YouTube channel. So if you put in Inspiring Inking and then Stamparatus, you'll find them. There's hints and tips, there's different techniques, all sorts of things. So I've mounted my stamp, and then something else for you to know, these magnets, there are two of them, and you get two plates with the Stamparatus. I've just left my other one downstairs. But you get two magnets. And these are earth magnets, neodymium magnets. Never sure I'm saying that right. But basically, super strong, super fragile. If you drop them on the table, they will spring towards one another. I don't know if I'm just going to hold that end there and look. Can you see it's pulling it's actually pulling my hand. They are so strong, And if they smash together, literally that's what they'll do. They'll break into pieces. You don't want to have to buy replacement magnets. So I put, this is duct tape. And I think that's a universal brand. And this has got little puppy dogs on it. It's really cool, but I put it on to make like a tab so I can lift it off. And it's just easy. And I only tend to use one at a time anyway. Okay, so I've got some grid paper. I'm just going to pin that down with the magnet. And then I've got the shimmery card. I'm just going to move that over a little bit and down a little bit. Okay, so this piece of card is bigger than what I'm actually needing it for. So I will trim it down in a bit. So whenever you're inking up something on your Stamparatus, put an ink pad or a stamp set underneath it, just to kind of keep it steady as you're inking it. Now I am using Stays on Ink. Stays on Ink is really important for this technique because it's waterproof. So it's not going to go anywhere. And I'm just going to press over. It's a big stamp. Ooh. Let's just pin that down. Okay, so can you see I've got a couple of bits here that I've missed? So let's just re-ink it. And then go back over the top. And there you've got a much deeper impression. Now, once you've done this, you need to leave it to dry. Although it dries quite quickly, you do need to make sure that it is completely dry. So here's one I made earlier. And I'm going to get my ink pads out. I'm going to start with the crushed curry, so it's the yellow. I'm pressing the blending brush onto the ink pad. And then I'm going to start in the corner, circular motions to lay some ink down. Now, depending on how deep and vibrant you want your colours, depends on how much ink or how many times you go over it. I'm not going to put too much ink on. I want to be able to see the colours, but I don't, it doesn't need to be really saturated. So I'm using pumpkin pie now. And then I'm going to just get the blending brush that's got the crushed curry on. And just where the two colours join, I'm just going to go over that and just blend the two colours together. And I like using the paler colour to do that. It just softens that edge. And then I'm going to use the Melon Mambo. Okay, so then again, the paler colour, I'm going to come in with the pumpkin pie just over that area, just that join. And then we've got this lovely sort of semi-rainbow effect. And it's actually, it is much more vibrant than you can see in the on camera. The colours are very deep. So let's just have a look at the comments. Judith had to go. She's got some unexpected visitors, which is wonderful. And Patricia's saying her son is 3 and he counts like me. So that must mean I am in good company, Patricia. I am pleased. Okay, so I've got some kitchen roll. I'm just going to close up these ink pads for now. I will probably need them in a little while. For the sentiment and so on. I'm just going to fold up this kitchen roll. Okay, so got my paintbrush. Oh, Lorraine's asking me how I store the blending brushes, my used ones. I have some IKEA little metal bins. They're sort of a mug size, really, not very tall, and I just stand them up on their end. And then obviously when I'm going to grab one, I just grab hold of the back of it rather than the front of it, because then you get covered in ink. Okay, so we're going to use the wet paintbrush, and we are going to go over one of the butterflies. And it is exactly what I said. It is a reverse watercoloring. So what you're doing is you're lifting off colour. Can you see that? Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to put too much water on there. See a little bit more coming off there. You don't want to saturate it, because if you saturate it, it'll bleed out everywhere else. But you want enough water on there to start lifting the colour. And you will see that what happens is it starts to get paler and paler. Now, obviously, at the moment, this is also wet. So you can see that colour's coming off, but it might not show up as a lot paler. So I'm going to keep going. I do have one that is dry, so I don't want you to worry if you can't see it too much. But you will see it as we get the darker colours as well. So I'm going all over. And what the water is doing, obviously, is it's diluting the ink and therefore making it paler. It means that some of it will come off on the brush. Some of it will come off when I put the kitchen roll down. But it's amazing how this technique works. So do you remember the magic painting books that you used to get? That you used them and you just added water, and the paint, I'm guessing, I don't know the technology, but I'm guessing that the technology was that the ink was in the printing somewhere along the line. You'll get to a point where you've got no clean bits of your kitchen roll, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to add the darker colour. I don't know how well this is actually going to show on camera. It's a voyage of discovery. But it basically makes the colour float. It is astonishing. So I'm just going to bring this up and see if you can see. So can you see on this one? You can see it's much paler. And here. So I'm just going to get another piece of kitchen roll. Now, obviously, I'm using kitchen roll, but true artists, real artists, use like a painting cloth. So if you've got like an old sheet or something like that, that would be really good to use for this technique. And then you can wash it and just use it again. I am always trying to think of different ways that we can reuse things. At least paper towel can be recycled, I think. So let's just see how much colour's coming off. You do just have to be patient. And I appreciate that lots of us don't like actual watercolouring because we don't think that we're very good at it. But actually, we can all do this. we can all paint with water. So let's just keep going with this. And I'm just going to do this bigger butterfly and then the other wing on that one. And then I'm just going to let it dry for a minute and just show you one that I made before and see if that needs any additional bits doing. The more water you put down, the more colour that will come off. But obviously, the slightly riskier it is, because what you don't really want is for it to bleed outside of the edges. Now, if that's something that you really are concerned about, what you could do is you could use black embossing powder and you could emboss this, and then the water wouldn't go outside the embossed images. But I do like this the way it is, that it's quite flat. Look how much pink's coming off. That's so cool. And I love it where you've got like the crossover of the colours. So let's just lift up a bit more. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this up and hopefully you can see. Okay, so let's just have a look at the comments. Scylla and Margaret and Claire and Sue, they all remember them, and they were magic and we loved them. Elizabeth loved them too. Jackie remembers them too. Oh, wow. Karen's saying you can now buy reusable magic painting books. Keeps the kids occupied for hours in hot weather. So I'm guessing then that it dries out and then disappears again. Maybe we all need some of those. Chris is saying that she always used to get them too wet, but later realized the brush was pretty enormous. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right, I just need to do a little bit more on this pink. Get a bit more of that off. A bit more of that one off. Okay, so the other, what I'm actually going to do now is just to show you a technique. So I've been really careful so far not to get any paint splats on this, but I am actually going to definitely get paint splats on. And I was trying to explain this the other day of how to get paint splats. So or water splats on an inked piece of cardstock. So if you get a little bit of water in your hand and make your hand into like a claw shape and dip your fingers in the water, and then I'm going to do it kind of in the air the wrong way for now. And what the action is that. So let me get a bit more water in my hand. So obviously I'm doing it, and the higher you do it, the smaller the splats, but and if I just go over the top, you can see where the splats have gone. But now you can see I've now got little water droplets on there as well. So I'm going to just do a few more. So the other technique to do that is to use your paintbrush and flick it. Or tap it like this. So let's just put it over. Now I'm obviously doing that with water because this is an inked image. But you will find that if you do it with ink in water, you'll be able to get those techniques as well. So can you see all those lovely splats? So when the cards go up on my blog, you'll see two. So you'll see this one that isn't finished yet, which has got the splats on it, and there'll be one without splats. So let me get this one that I did earlier. And can you see how? So this is sort of a coloured image, and you can see how different it is. So actually I might make a card out of this one as well. That's so cool. So let's get the sentiment. Happy birthday. On here, so we can, and actually I now need 3 of these, don't I? Let's stamp it 3 times. Ooh, that's not very clever. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to put a little bit of ink over that, I think. So, oops. Yeah, that's not going to work. Look, it's not dry. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the reverse. I'm going to put a little bit of colour down. And this is only the colour kind of that I've got left on my brushes. I'll just do one for now. That's because I was trying to be too clever. There we go. And we'll just get that trimmed up. Going to put that down a little bit more, trim it a bit closer. Margaret's saying that she's done that technique to get ink splats. Yeah, it is such a cool technique, and it's one of those things that, you know, you kind of forget. And ink splats are a great way of just adding a little bit of texture to what you're doing. It's texture and movement. Okay, so let's see. I think we're going to go that way around. Just, let's see, I've got sticky bits all over the place at the moment. So let's go that way. So I'm just going to trim this down now. And it just, by trimming it down, it actually really sharpens the images. 5 1/4. So, did any of you see where the sentiment went? Oh no, it's falling on the floor. I don't know where it went. Hurrah! Okay, I will stick this down. Then we'll worry about that in a second. Now, because this has had water on it and it's dried, it is a little bit lumpy bumpy. So just make sure that you flatten it out when you're sticking it down. You can use tape, that will work as well. But just take a second just to give it a good stick. So there you go. So there's the card, but let me, ooh, I nearly wheeled over it on my chair. There we go. Let me get my scissors. So I'm just cutting that into a flag end. So basically all I've done is I've cut down the center and then just cut triangles off like that. I'm just going to curve it with my fingers. I'm going to put a dimensional part way down so it lifts it a little bit, and then Tombow on this edge. And then it can just sit there nice and neatly, but it's actually got a little bit of a lift there. That's a great tip, Elizabeth. We can use this strip to decorate the inside. I haven't bought any white card up with me, so I will put that on my white card for the inside. So if you can imagine, that's a great way of decorating the inside and not wasting any of your strips. So there you go. There is the card finished. As I said, this particular one is just the colour's been lifted. I'll probably do one just like this as well, which is just, you know, the kind of the rainbowy type colours, and then this one with all the splats and things. This will lift a bit more. It's still quite wet. The card itself is still quite wet, so this will actually lift a little bit more as well. So you will actually, in the end, see 3 different cards on my blog. So if you have never been over to my blog before, let me see if I can get this. This is my blog, www.inspiringinking.com. There you'll find hundreds and hundreds of cards and videos and projects and tutorials. But I will be posting all of these cards on there with a link to this video. There's always clickable links as well. So at the bottom of this video here on YouTube and Facebook, there'll be clickable links, and on my blog. So you can purchase everything that you've seen today from my online store. And I give away a free class every month with all orders over £40. And that's called Craft Along. And you can find all the details about that as well. So it's an exclusive class for my customers. So, have you enjoyed this technique? Is it something you're going to give a go? It's very simple. You just need stamps, ink and paper. Really, really straightforward. But I hope that you will give it a go. And I would love to see pictures of your creations. If you want to send me an email with the pictures, that would be amazing. I love to see them. And obviously, if you give your permission, I'll share them here as well with everyone else. So let's just go back to the comments. Great technique, vibrant colours, positive and cheerful. Jen saying lovely cards, but she's not a splatty person. Exactly. We are all different, aren't we? Thanks, Anne. Bye. Thank you, Chris and Michelle and Maureen and Deborah and Donna. Brilliant. Okay, so thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will be back here next week at 2 o'clock. And I look forward to seeing you then. Goodbye.